now we'll hear from Patrick Benoit, the gods of the copybook headings, and the dentist and the gas.
The Dentist and the Gas by Stephen Leacock. I think, said the dentist, stepping outside again, I'd better give you gas. Then he moved aside and hummed an air from a light opera while he mixed up cement. I sat up in my shroud. Gas, I said. Yes, he repeated, gas. Or else ether, or sulfuric anesthetic, or else beat you into insensibility with a club, or give you 3,000 volts of electricity. These may not have been his exact words, but they convey the feeling of them very nicely. I could see the light of primitive criminality shining behind the man's spectacles. And to think this was my fault, the result of my own reckless neglect. I had grown so used to sitting back, dozing in my shroud in the dentist's chair, listening to the twittering of the birds outside, my eyes closed in the sweet half-sleep of perfect security, that the old apprehensiveness and mental agony had practically all gone. He didn't hurt me, and I knew it. I had grown, I know it sounds mad, almost to like him. For a time, I kept up the appearance of being hurt every few minutes, just as a precaution. Then, even that had ceased, and I had dropped into vainglorious apathy. It was this, of course, which had infuriated the dentist. He meant to reassert his power. He knew that nothing but gas could rouse me from my lethargy, and he meant to apply it, either gas or some other powerful pain stimulant. So as soon as he said gas, my senses were alert in a moment. "When are you going to do it?" I said in horror. "Right now, if you like," he answered. His eyes were glittering with what the Germans call bloodlust. All dentists have it. I could see that if I took my eye off him for a moment, he might spring at me, gas in hand, and throttle me. "No, not now," I said. "I can't stay now. I have an appointment, a whole lot of appointments, urgent ones, the most urgent I ever had." I was unfastening my shroud as I spoke. "Well then, tomorrow," said the dentist. "No, tomorrow is Saturday, and Saturday is a day on which I simply can't take gas. If I take any gas on a Saturday, even the least bit of gas, I find it misunderstood." "Monday, then," said the dentist. "Monday, I'm afraid, won't do. It's a bad day for me, worse than I can explain." "Tuesday," said the dentist. "Not Tuesday," I said. "Tuesday is the worst day of all. On Tuesday, my church society meets, and I must go to it." I hadn't been near it, in reality, for 3 years, but suddenly I felt the longing to attend it. "On Wednesday," I went on, speaking hurriedly and wildly, "I have another appointment, a swimming club. And on Thursday, 2 appointments, a choral society and a funeral. On Friday, I have another funeral. Saturday's market day, Sunday's rocking day, Monday's drawing day." "Hold on," said the dentist, speaking very firmly. "You come tomorrow morning. I'll write the engagement for 10 o'clock. I think it must have been hypnotism. Before I knew it, I had said yes. I went out. On the street, I met a man I knew. "Have you ever taken gas from a dentist?" I asked. "Oh, yes," he answered. "It's nothing." Soon after, I met another man. "Have you ever taken gas?" "Of course. Why, it's nothing. Nothing at all." Altogether, I asked about 50 people that day about gas, and they all said that it wouldn't hurt me, that it was nothing. When I said I was to take it tomorrow, they showed no concern whatever. I looked in their faces for traces of anxiety. There weren't any. They all said that it wouldn't hurt me, that it was nothing. So So then I was glad, because I knew that gas was nothing. It began to seem hardly worthwhile to keep the appointment. Why go all the way downtown for such a mere nothing? But I did go. I kept the appointment. What followed was such an absolute nothing that I shouldn't bother relating it, except for the sake of my friends. The dentist was there with 2 assistants. All 3 had white coats on, as rigid as naval uniforms. I forget whether they carried revolvers. Nothing could exceed their quiet courage. Let me pay them that tribute. I was laid out in my shroud in a long chair and tied down to it. I think I was tied down. Perhaps I was fastened with nails. Part of it was a mere nothing. It simply felt like being tied down by 3 strong men armed with pincers. A gas tank and a pump were placed beside me, and a set of rubber tubes fastened tight over my mouth and nose. Even those who have never taken gas can realize how ridiculously simple this is. Then they began pumping in gas. The sensation of this part I cannot, unfortunately, recall. It so happened that just as they began to administer the gas, I fell asleep. I don't quite know why. Perhaps I was overtired. Perhaps it was the simple home charm of the surroundings, the soft, drowsy hum of the gas pump, the twittering of the dentists in the trees. Oh, say the trees. Of course they weren't in the trees, imagine. The dentists and trees. Here, take this gas plug from my face till I laugh. I just want to laugh. Only to laugh. Well, that's what it felt like. Meanwhile, they were operating. Of course, I didn't feel it. All I felt was that someone dealt me a powerful blow in the face with a sledgehammer. After that, somebody took a pickaxe and cracked my jaw with it. That was all. It was a mere nothing. I felt at the time that a man who objects to a few taps on the face with a pickaxe is overcritical. I didn't happen to wake up till they had practically finished. So really, I missed the whole thing. The assistants had gone, and the dentist was mixing cement and humming airs from light opera just like old times. It made the world seem a bright place. I went home with no teeth. I'd only meant them to remove one, but I realized they'd taken them all out. Still, it didn't matter. Not long after, I received my bill. I was astounded at the nerve of it. For administering gas, debtor so much. For removing teeth, debtor so much, and so on. In return, I sent in my bill. Dr. William Jaws, debtor, to mental agony, $50. To gross lies in regards to the nothingness of gas, $100. To putting me under gas, $50. To having fun with me under gas, $100. To brilliant ideas occurred to me under gas and then lost, $100. Grand total, $400. My bill has been contested and is in the hands of the solicitor. The matter will prove, I understand, a test case and will go to the final courts. If the judges have toothache during the trial, I shall win.